Welcome to 100 Days Palworld Humans. While I spawn in and gather stuff, allow me to explain the rules of this challenge. I can only capture humans. Does this mean I can capture humanoid pals? No. No Bushi, no Robin Quill, Celine, Bella Noir, none of that. Just plain old humans. The second rule is, I have to defeat all of the tower bosses by day 100. Going into this 100 days, I already know that I will never have the advantage of using electricity, and I can't even smelt metal without fire pals. I do know some ways around these limitations without breaking the spirit of the challenge. What will my punishment be for failing this challenge? Nothing. Let's get it on. After gathering resources and explaining the rules, I leveled up and threw my skill points into work speed. Humans have handiwork at level 1, and I need to get things crafted faster than that, so I'll be doing most of the heavy lifting this time around. My fellow humans are there mostly as meat shields, taking the brunt of all combat, forcing me to be a house husband, and I don't really mind it all that much, honestly. As usual, I crafted a workbench and got started on my productions. My plan was to get a lot of pal spheres crafted as soon as possible and get myself some clothes as well. While I was wandering around picking up sticks and stones, I made it a point to collect lift monk effigies. I will absolutely be reliant on them in the future. From past experience, it seems that humans have some resistances to being captured and break out of pal spheres easier. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's how it feels anyway. Along the river of the windswept hills, I began farming all of the palladium nodes I came across. This took up a good bit of the morning, and when I farmed to my carry capacity, I returned to my forward base of operations. Upon my arrival, I heard the chime of a lucky pal. After searching the area for a bit, I found a gigantic Cativa stuck on this hill, and I began the attack. Whoa, this thing is a bit too strong for me right now, so I backed off. Then I unlocked some starter items and quickly fashioned myself a set of clothes for better protection. It's not much protection, but hey, it's better than nothing, I suppose. Afterwards, I placed a few campfires to make some food to stave off the inevitability of starvation. That lucky Cativa from a paragraph ago was driving me insane with its constant chiming, and I had to shut it up no matter the cost. So began my hunt to silence it. I eventually found it sleeping in the starter cave, and I once again set upon this Cativa with great conviction. My desire for peace and quiet sacrosanct. That Cativa had got the last laugh, however, as it punched me into the mesh. I was left with no escape, and I was trapped. The clock was ticking until I starved to death, so I took the easy way out and hit the respawn button. The lucky Cativa got away for now. When I collected my things, I still heard the siren call of that lucky Cativa somewhere, and after searching, I had found it and put an end to its tyranny on my ears. Learning from my battle, I crafted myself an overshield. By now, I'm sure you all know what this thing is. I hope so, if you clicked on a Palworld video. To put it plainly, this thing is designed to keep my insides from coming outside. I also crafted myself a glider. I, of course, wanted to make my way over to the most goated island on the map, and I needed this to traverse safely. I'm talking about Sakurajima. I love that island a lot, and it's my holy mission to build a base there every time I make a Palworld video. Until the new island comes out, at least. When my equipment was ready to go, so was I. I set out and farmed resources to get some pal spheres crafted, and then I ventured out into the world looking for potential candidates to join my army. My first recruit would be this woman, sitting stoically by a campfire, greeting players as they enter Palworld, gifting us wood and a cautionary tale. Bet she didn't see this one coming, did she? Some troll-eyed maniac waifu with blue hair and a lot of pal spheres to burn. As soon as the pal sphere had left my hand, I was assailed by PIDF, and they were not happy with my transgression against humanity. I dodged the barrage of lead coming my way, and I absconded with the angry palmerk, narrowly avoiding a trip to the respawn. With a leap of faith, I had managed to give the constabulary the slip and did a quick relog to drop the heat. To make some of these humans feel a bit more personalized, I decided to name some of them. This one was named Lisa Lisa. The band? Or from JoJo? Yes. Eager to see Lisa Lisa's skills in combat, I did a quick field test to gauge her abilities. Let's just say, I've seen a three-toed sloth with more enthusiasm. She wasn't very good at all. She didn't even use her shotgun for what it was intended for. Oh well, she's my first friend in this playthrough, and it's not so lonely anymore, I guess. I wanted more friends, so Lisa and I ran to a syndicate camp, and I caught a lot of them. I left mostly unscathed. I was built like Swiss cheese afterwards, and I couldn't hold a glass of water, but it was alright. Unfortunately, we did suffer a casualty. One of the syndicate guys I caught actually bit it quite hard. Rest in peace. I returned to base after a successful outing and made some much needed repairs. My clothes were in rags after that fight. After getting my stuff fixed, I did a quick resupply and I returned to the Syndicate camp. Just like on day 2, I caught almost everyone in the camp, except for this Syndicate gunner. He just didn't want to go with me, I guess. I wasted a ton of spheres trying to catch him, but I eventually did. At this point, I felt like I was ready to move on, and I decided that tomorrow I would run my way to Sakurajima Island. When I returned to base, I knuckled down and started farming a lot of stone and wood. I wanted to arrive on Sakurajima with a lot of spears. I think 122 would be good enough for now. Granted, most of the things on Sakurajima can't be caught with these, but I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them, you feel me? Oh, here's a Syndicate thug petting a lamb ball, I guess. Day 4 had arrived quicker than I had anticipated, and thus, once more, did I set off to the promised land. I had spent most of the morning running in the direction I thought Sakurajima was. I've been there so many times by now that I don't even need to reference the map. Mostly. My travels took me to the small village that is tucked away under this gigantic bridge. I would be back here at some point, so me being future-minded, unlocked the fast travel node and continued on my quest. To shake things up for myself, I decided to take the scenic route to Sakurajima. I wanted to explore a bit and see if I could find anything interesting on my alternate route. I had found a desolate church, and I upgraded my PAL capture power and attempted to swindle this coin merchant. He really didn't appreciate my slight, and gave me a discount on the remaining days of my life. The start of day 5 was a complete disaster. Oh yeah, I got my stuff back by the way, only to lose it again. I got into a skirmish with more syndicates and a Tombat. There was a Depresso Wombo combo in there, and it put me in the dirt. I managed to grab all of my stuff not long after the incident, and I continued forward. My journey led me onto the bridge with Necromus and Palladius, and as soon as I had crossed the threshold into a new land, I was ambushed by the Free Pal Alliance. The title for these guys are a bit misleading. The only freeing they're doing is freeing local wildlife from the realm of the living, and I was next. And a group of them chased me all the way back across the bridge. Luckily for me, they gave up and retreated. Undeterred, I pressed on and found myself at the ancient ritual site. There, I managed to catch one of the Free Pal Alliance devouts. At the same time, I attracted the attention of this gang of Robin Quill. I wasn't about to stick around and find out what they wanted to do to me, so I legged it as fast as I could. After the pursuit, they lost chase and I was free to roam in peace. As the day wore on, I picked up more Lift Monk effigies and my path led me to the ocean. I began to tread water, not without great reservation though. I had no idea if I could actually make it across this bit of water, but I managed. Hey, it still sketched me out though. On the edge of the bamboo forest, I could just barely make out the boss tower of Sakurajima Island in the distance. As I was running, I saw a huge gang of Depresso, and I didn't want to tango with all that, so I kept my distance. Here's a cool Depresso fact, my glam fam. Did you know that Depresso can strip a chicken to bone in 3.5 seconds? Now imagine what an entire school of hungry Depresso could do to an adult human. Is this true? Sure, just don't ask Pocketpair about it on Twitter. After running for some time without much filler content, I made it to the coast of the island I was on, and from there, I could see the giant mushrooms that were common in Sakurajima's swamplands. I was almost there. Tomorrow, I would swim across a small bit of water and be home free. When I seeked out a sojourn on the beach, I had a chat with this weary islander that told me a funny anecdote about a high-level merc being turned into a Denny's Grand Slam by a dire howl. He told me this exciting tale over the course of an 8-hour period, mostly because I went AFK to check on something. Bright and early on the morning of day 7, I swam across the water and arrived safely on the shores of Sakurajima. I was finally here. Almost immediately, I spotted a master pal tamer, and I had an idea to catch her. But before I could enact my scheme, I needed to build myself some insurance, just in case I died during the inevitable fight that was coming my way. With haste, I put down a pal box to act as a fast travel, and I farmed some stone and giant mushrooms for sticks, and laid down a snare trap. Ideally, the pal tamer would walk into the snare, and I placed down a campfire under her. The campfire would do ticking damage to her, and over time it would lower her health down for easy capture. A sound plan, a doable plan. So far the plan worked, and the tamer was snared. I placed down a campfire and waited for the right moment. First pal sphere was a no-go. And in retaliation, the pal tamer summoned a Relaxosaurus Lux, which in the moment was one of the scariest things she could have summoned. Relaxosaurus Lux were pretty strong, so I ran away, dodging a hailstorm of bullets and a hungry pal. With quick thinking, I managed to get the Relaxosaurus stuck on some mushrooms and double paddled back to the pal tamer. With finesse, I caught her in another snare. Unfortunately, she perished and my pal spears weren't strong enough to catch her. Oh well, easy come, easy go. I decided while I was here to do a quick party swap on our fallen troops in the pal box for healing, and handpicked my strongest warriors to accompany me. I dug through 3 trash piles and got 3 legendary pal spears, and I would use these a bit later. You see, I was on Sakurajima for a few reasons. 1, because it's awesome. 2, because the trash piles on the island contained crazy endgame loot, saving me the stress of farming for it later. And finally, there are groups of ninja that wander the Sakura forest called Moonflower Genin and Moonflower Jonin. If I could capture either a Genin or a Jonin, I'd have the foundations for a smooth 100 days. Ideally, if I captured a Jonin, I'd have the makings of a boss soloing, katana-wielding weapon. So that was my plan. I'm gonna need a lot of lift monks for this. My searching continued into day 8, and I managed to find a few more legendary pal spears. I had 6 in total. Hopefully, it would be enough for when I did find a Jonin. I ran to the edge of the swamp and climbed up into the Sakura forest, and I didn't have to look very far for a few Genin and Jonin. I placed down a bunch of snare traps and lured them in with a pal spear. Time froze for a moment as I ran into position. Success! I had captured one of the Genin. 1 down, 2 to go. After catching both Genin, I was left with only the Jonin, and after a dance of death, I managed to capture him as well. I placed a campfire down and waited with bated breath as his health began to drop. After a few failed attempts at capturing him, I managed to get lucky with my last legendary pal spear. I was taken aback by my wild stroke of luck, and I would not squander this massive boost I was given. Quickly, I hurried back to base to swap him in with my team. I gave him the name of Tenchi. He has the Masochist perk, which lowers his attack by 15%, but increases his defense by 15%. I don't really mind this, it lowers him being overpowered slightly. We went back to my original camp to use the repair bench, and I noticed that Tenchi, when he attacks, does something like over 3,000 damage, and I wanted to test him out against something stronger. I had found this random Mamorest just chilling doing Mamorest things, and so I sent in Tenchi. Tenchi, unsurprisingly, hit like a K-truck. I was flabbergasted. I knew that the Jonin were strong, but this is insane. I wasn't satisfied, so we went to the big leagues. I fought the Mamorest boss that wandered the windswept hills, and Tenchi made quick work of it. Each hit did more damage than most of the pals I've ever caught in my 100 days videos. I wanted him to become even stronger, and to do this, I would need at least 116 more Jonin to max him out in the pal condenser. With Tenchi defeating the Mamorest boss, I had a meteoric rise in levels and gained 9 in one sitting, propelling us forward by leaps and bounds. I was now level 26 and I could take on most of the threats with ease on the island. We went back to the starter camp, repaired, and then we set out to fight Zoe and Grisbolt. The fight was kind of janky at the start. Tenchi had trouble locking onto Zoe for some reason, but he still did a metric ton of damage to her. On average, he was doing about 2,000 per hit, and it was devastating. In no time, Zoe and Grisbolt had been cut down, and we claimed the tower for our own in victory. From previous testing and playthroughs, I know that you can feed humans pal skill fruits, and this will allow them to have new powers, and so I fed Tenchi the forbidden fruit from this tree. The most remarkable one was Try Lightning, and now that Tenchi had ranged attacks, he was an absolute weapon. The next day, I went back to our Sakurajima base to drop some things off, and I was ambushed by a couple of Croagiro. Tenchi wasn't having any of it, and put them down with ease. I didn't stay at base for too long, and began my journey to Mount Obsidian. I needed to unlock the fast travel by the fishing village because I needed metal ingots. You can get around using fire pals for forges by farming bushi on the beach. On our journey, we came across a black market merchant, and I wanted some fast gold. With a trap, I slinged up the merchant and placed a campfire under him and smacked him a few times to make sure I got the loot. After about a minute or so, he was done cooking, but he didn't drop anything. Weird. I wonder if they removed that from one of these smaller patches. Oh well, back to it then. There it is, Mount Obsidian. Probably the worst place in all of Palworld, hands down. Oh no, the merchant, no. Oh well, I suppose I better take care of these ruffians. Alright, Tenchi, let's go. Oh, he's hungry. I didn't even know humans could get hungry. There you go, buddy. His sanity is like 30. Tenchi, what are you doing? There we go. Oh my goodness gracious. That was a bit unnecessary. Oh boy, another lift monk effigy just for me. You know, suddenly the realization catching 116 Moonflower Jonin just hit me. I have my work cut out for me. I got a ton of metal that I need to farm. There's just so much to do, so little time. We're only on day 11 and I already feel exhausted. Hey, what's up, man? You know, I could use a trader back at base. What kind of spheres am I packing? I have an ultra sphere. Alright. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, I just threw my ult. I'm so dumb. Okay. I'll get you next time, wandering merchant. If it's the last thing I do. Yeah, for anyone who's watching this video, once it's out on YouTube, I absolutely cannot hit the broadside of a barn. Technically, I'm legally blind. Oh, they are after me. Oh my goodness gracious. Please leave me alone. I'm just a small anime girl that conveniently looks kind of like Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Alright, Tenchi, go get him. Tenchi, what are you doing? Defend me! He's just kind of standing there menacingly. Oh, he's got this. Excuse me, sir. Just gonna steal this pal sphere and the Slith Monk. So, aside from just logging out to drop the wanted level, is there any way you can organically just remove it in the game, or do I have to die? Alright, good job, Tenchi. There we go, get him. Bonkai. He's at half health. What are you doing? No! Oh, I wasn't even paying attention! Well, that's unfortunate. Gotta go all the way over there. Well, at least I got a fast travel at the church. Oh, I didn't realize I was that far. Oh, come on, man. Look at this guy. Just chilling. Moist, unbothered, staying in his own lane. Couldn't be me. There we go. Now I'm not naked anymore. That's nice. Hello, sweeper. Knowing my luck, I'm going to die randomly to something crazy. Never mind. Glam, why do your Palworld videos take so long to get out? Well, my Glam fam, this is the reason. I spent all day running towards Mount Obsidian. Yes, we must be getting close to Mount Obsidian. I feel an overwhelming wave of dread filling my body. Who's a good boy? Who's a good ninja? Oh, that actually is kind of sus. Tenchi, you are one crazy guy. Yeah, you know, looking at my current position and looking at that Lift Monk effigy, I just don't think that's going to happen. As soon as I arrive at the base of Mount Obsidian, I'm going to have to run like a maniac so I don't burn. Didn't bother making a tropical outfit because I'm stupid, apparently. Alright, Tenchi. Where are you at? Tenchi! Oh my goodness, where are you? He really is a ninja. Hold up, hold up. Here it comes. Wow, that's right on the way to a fast travel beacon. Alright, let's go. Oh yes, we have some opposition. Go get him! Tenchi. Oh, why are you shooting me? Alright, go get him, Tenchi. Just go. Use your sword. Tenchi, use your sword. No, 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 no. Smash and grab. Smash and grab. Come on, Glam. Come on. Playing with fire here. Run, run, run. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. No, 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 no. Oh. You want to know what true despair feels like? Die 30 meters away from a fast travel beacon at Mount Obsidian. Ugh, this is worse than my 13th birthday party. Hello? Out below. What's up with all these random pals just flying into the air? I don't understand. How does that happen? Oh, this is nice. Look at this. This would be a really nice base location. For anyone that's wondering, here it is on the map. Right here. My love is only for Sakurajima though, so I will not be building here. I can't believe this. It's day 12 and I spent the morning running to Mount Obsidian. Now I'm spending another half of the day running back. Maybe if I just haphazardly climb this really high wall and then climb that other one, I'll be able to get my stuff back. Still boggles the mind that I can climb a 90-degree angle with nothing but flip-flops in a dream. Really wish I put some points into stamina. Oh no. How did I not die? You know what? We're going around the wall. Ignore the chest, Glam. It's not worth it. Wham. I'm getting this thing first and foremost. I'm not playing around. There it is. There's our destination. In the distance, you can see the orange of the beacon. Alright, what do you have, my good man? First, let me drop off some of this trash. 21,000 coins. Made a tidy profit. Alright, I think I'll purchase myself a nice set of heat-resistant pelt armor, this makeshift handgun, and coarse ammo. I can buy 150 rounds. And I'm broke. What else is new? So long, wooden club. It's been a slice. Hey, can you see if this thing's loaded for me? Another lift monk for the collection. Kitted out and ready to rumble. Let's go find some bushi. Hopefully they spawn. I've noticed that sometimes it's a pain to get them to spawn in, especially when you're looking for them. But if you don't want to find a bushi, oh yeah, there he is, teleporting right to you. Am I right? Or am I right? There are so many Incineram around here. Why? Where's all the bushi? I don't want to have to run all the way back to the bushi arena. Don't make me do this. So looking at all these skill points, I think the final last call for me is going to be this heat resistant metal armor, because I can't capture electric pals. I cannot use the power generator, which won't allow me to use any of these things, and foolishly I unlocked the Giga Shield without paying attention. I'm not going to be able to get any of this stuff, and I'm not one to clickbait my audience, so I'm sticking with just humans. I'm not even going to tame like farming pals or anything like that. It's kind of lame. Alright, go get him, Tenchi. Oh my goodness. No, you stay away from me. Tenchi! Tenchi, help me! Well, that could have ended horribly. Oh, I didn't realize these guys drop coins and flame organs. Okay. Usually I just avoid them. And so I spent the rest of the day on the beach trying to find bushi for metal ingots. Oh, look at that failure saw all the way out there. Or is that a Ragnarok? I think it's a Ragnarok. Yeah, it is. Sorry, everyone. My vision's going out. I established this, like, 2 days ago. I still have yet to see a bushi. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Oh lord, he coming. Got him. I spent 100 days searching for bushi in Palworld. Here's what happened. There's one. Oh, first bushi. Go get him, Tenchi. Oh, he's hungry again? Even when hungry, he's an absolute unit. Excuse me? Eventually, I should probably get to Dune Shelter so I can purchase lettuce seeds and wheat seeds. Ah, a task for another day. I need metal right now. There's another bushi. Alright, go get him, Tenchi. Oof. Yeah, let's up my stamina this time. I've been here all day. I only have 2 bushi to show for it. Maybe I might have better luck farming them on Sakurajima, actually. I'm going back to Sakurajima. 2 bushi in the span of an 8-hour period is definitely not worth the cost. Plus, if I go back to Sakurajima Island and start farming bushi Noct, I will get a gauge of Tenchi's power. He's already pretty strong, but I want to see what he can really do. And so did our intrepid hero return back to Sakurajima Island to test out the might of his companion Tenchi. Ah, there's a saline over there. Wish me luck, my glam fam. So far, it's not looking good. Nope. I'm running. Whoa, that was close. I love this island, but at this level, it's gonna take a few years off of my lifespan for all these jump scares I keep getting. I mean, it's just a video game, sure, but, you know, still has its moments. I have 18 metal ingots to my name. Wow. I don't really remember if bushi Noct spawned during the day. I think the best course of action would be to avoid every verdash I see and just loot trash piles. Come on, legendary pal spheres. Yes, 1 is more than I had. I also need to build a pal condenser too. Once I get a few Jonin into Tenchi, he'll become even stronger, which means I'll become even stronger, and that's the whole point. Memoirs of a Moonflower Jonin, starring Tenchi. To build in the Sakura Forest once again, or not to. It's really tempting. The only problem is the Yakumo. Yeah, those little guys right there. I probably look like an easy meal for them, so I'm just gonna give them a wide berth. Keep going this way. Oh, a trash pile. How delightful. Come on, legendary pal sphere. Let's go. Dang it. Is that another trash pile? I have to see. Oh, it is. Nestled between 2 rocks. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on? Oh, this Chillette scared me. That was a bit unnecessary. Gave me a little jolt, a little start there. You know, it'd be really cool if every trash pile I looted gave me exactly what I wanted. That'd be great. Come on, legendary pal spheres. Dang it. Yeah, this is just a glimpse into what I do in my 100 days videos. I just run around Sakurajima looking for trash. Not the most exciting, wacky content, I understand, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. How crazy am I to go onto the beach? Not very. I don't really want to go down on the beach. Is that a dragon egg or is that a dark egg? Nah. I'm not gonna go look, who cares? I don't know what they were thinking in Japan naming these guys Prickster. Means a whole different thing in English. Technically, I'm not on the beach, right? I'm just kinda on the outskirts a little. I refuse to go down there. No luck with the legendary Palspheres today. That's really unfortunate. I have 3 Ultra Spheres and 1 Legendary Sphere. I don't know if the Ultra Spheres can actually catch the Jonin. I have no idea how many of these things I've picked up. Seems like a lot. Okay, let's have a peek at this tree, see what we can get. Something good, a treat for me. Multi-cutter, okay. Dark cannon, blast cannon. Oh, Tenchi, bone apple the teeth. It's almost nighttime. One more trash pile. One more for the road. Still no legendary Palspheres. F in the chat, boys, F in the chat. By the way, let me ask you guys something. Do you prefer this narrating style over reading a script? Let me know, please. This is far easier than writing a script, and it's a bit more off the cuff. I'm just not sure what y'all prefer. I can go either way, honestly. Surely a legendary Palsphere in this one, right? Nope. Let's go find some Bushi Noct now. I'm feeling quite anxious. Kinda have my doubts. Oh, especially with Lisa. Oh no. Well, we're in it now. Alright, Tenchi. You see, the unfortunate thing about Nintendo being the way they are is that I can't throw Tenchi over the river to go confront that Bushi. Oh no. I was too busy complaining and I suffered. I'm sorry, Nintendo. I'll never talk bad about you again. Oh, there he is. I need to go. Goodbye. I'm running. He is not doing a lot of damage to this Bushi Noct. Not as much as I'd like. Oh no, I put all my bullets away. That's not good. I thought that farming Bushi Noct here would be a lot easier, but I was apparently wrong. I said, oh yeah, maybe we can farm Bushi on Sakurajima, and here we are. There's a ton of Bushi everywhere, but they're way out of my league. I think I'm going to have to divert my plan. Oh no, oh no, no. Right, and I'm starving. You know, you think these things out in your head and everything seems like it'll go perfectly when you're thinking about it, but when you actually put it into action, it just goes so horribly wrong. Oh no. No way. Leave me alone. Yamate. Yamaro. Oh no, I'm stuck. I'm cornered. I'm dead. Sayonara. Well, this kind of puts a crimp in things, doesn't it? Wow, okay. Oh no, I'm dead. Oh, how did I survive? I'm running for my life. Oh, I thought for sure that would have my number. It appears that I've escaped. Would I even be able to catch a Jonin with an Ultra Sphere? I have no idea. I have never tried it. This is a nice area. It's pretty lovely. You got a view of the mountain, the big tree. I am in a legendary Palsphere drought. Please, just a small morsel. Oh, look at that. It's a huge dragon egg. That would have came in handy in my last 100 days video. But it is what it is. Well, it's almost lunchtime and I still have nothing to show for it. Unless... Alright, I see some Genin and a Jonin over by a trash pile. I might try to do this to my advantage. I have plenty of wood on me. I just need stone. Stone I see. Guarded by even more Moonflower Genin. They're everywhere. Look at that. There's Genin over here. Genin and a Jonin over there. I am spoiled for choice. Hopefully I can actually capture some Jonin though. Oh no, oh no. I got greedy. I'm paying the ultimate price. It's not worth it. I'm out of stamina. Anything bad can happen and probably will happen. I'm stuck. Oh no. It's just me and the Jonin. Oh, okay. I guess they're retreating? Sure. Oh, they're coming back for seconds. Whoa, these ninjas, I swear. They're very good at their training. So this is the art of shinobi. Please leave me alone. Oh no, please. Just leave me alone. What's that? Oh, that's a Yukumo. Great. Oh, the They're gone. Alright, they finally left me alone. Finally. Now I have to backtrack. Is that another huge dragon egg? Why couldn't I have this luck in my last video, man? Come on. Who did I make mad to rack up such bad karma? So now that I have the materials for a trap, or 2, or 3, or 4, how many ever it takes, all the Jonin just disappear. And all I'm left with are Genin. Oh no. Oh no. I haven't captured a Genin. I don't know how strong they are, but... is that... It's a lucky Quivern. Wait, what did I do? Why are you attacking me? I like Quivern. No. No. Oh, what is that? Oh, where were you with my last video? I'm not even mad. I'm just severely disappointed. I'm seeing huge dragon eggs everywhere. A lucky Quivern spawned in. Absolutely wacky. Oh, a supply drop. That could be a boon. I'll go get that after I get my stuff back. Once again, I am at full power. If I keep having bad strokes of luck like this, I'm probably just going to have to suck it up and just go level out in the world, because I am falling way far behind. Arigato, Lift Monk San. Ooh, more Ultra Spheres, a heat-resistant undershirt too. Well, 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 and a vital elixir. How delightful. Oh no, please. No, let me loot this first. Oh no, I have made a grave mistake. That one's on me, everyone, okay? That one's on me. I panicked, okay? I'm sorry, what do you want from me? Going to collect my belongings with tears in my eyes. Granted, this isn't as bad as my 100 Days Dragon video. I'm used to beatings at this point. The sharpest of blades were not forged in the coldest of fires. Or something, I don't know. Just making things up as I go. Is this Bushi gonna give me trouble? Please. I beg of you. Allow me to sort through this trash. Oyo gozaimasu. It's a brand new day. I think I see some Moonflower, Genin, and Jonin finally. Unless they just met an untimely end. Hopefully they didn't. They're still down there. Alright, let's enact my master plan. Alright, I think this many traps should be enough. Ew! Down there. Oh yeah, I forgot I have no bullets. Oh, that made him mad. No, my own trap has trapped me. Yo! Okay, calm down. Please work, please work, please work, please work. Got him. I got one of them. Oh, yes. Oh, like a fly to vinegar. I could try and capture a Genin. These guys actually look pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Alright, here we go. Really? Oh my goodness. I should have known. Well, great, now what do we do? You know, in hindsight, I've been collecting all these Lift Monk effigies. I could have just leveled up my capture power before engaging in this endeavor. You know, as they say, hindsight is always 20/20. Alright, Megasphere, go. Hypersphere, go. Ultrasphere? Really? You know, how about a Genin? Will the Ultrasphere work on a Genin? Nope, these ones don't have very good odds either. This has got to be illegal. This doesn't feel right. Maybe I could get lucky and find a legendary Palsphere somewhere around here. Wishful thinking, right? All I need is one trash pile. Oh, there's a trash pile. Sick. Oh, what? Yes. Oh, that is so clutch. 3 legendary Palspheres. Hail Mary. Oh, so close. One more Palsphere left. Oh no, he broke out. No. Easy come, easy go, as they say. Pardon me, good sir, but what you are doing is ethically wrong. Yeah, and? I decided that now would be the time to move my base out of the swamp. I missed the sakura trees and the lanterns at the center of the island. I picked up all the materials that I had gathered up until this point, deleted my PAL box, and began my ascension up the hill. Moving didn't take too long, and I decided to settle off the beaten path, right off the edge of the cliff near the sakura shrine. My armor was in tatters from fighting, and I needed to conduct some much needed repairs. So I placed a repair bench, and then I took some time unlocking important essentials. Some of these items I needed to build required stone, and I didn't really have much farmed up. The place I decided to settle at didn't have any boulders next to it either, and off I went to farm stone from somewhere nearby. When I was done farming, I placed down a few campfires to keep the area lit up while I fumbled around the area. Satisfied, I resorted to crafting nails for the rest of the night. The nails would be used to create a high quality workbench so I can get myself better equipment. Some of these crafting recipes called for metal ingots, and because I made nails the night before, I was completely fresh out. Early in the morning, on day 18, I left with Tenchi back to Mount Obsidian to hunt for bushi. Maybe my luck would turn around and they'd spawn with greater numbers, fingers crossed. Off of the shore, I could just make out the small flame on top of a familiar hat. A bushi was wandering around in the water, and we got the jump on him. Another ways away, there was another bushi, and another. I was gaining the metal that I so desperately needed. Now, I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to. I got into a fight with a group of Brother of Eternal Pyre. Brothers? Brotherhood? Whatever. These broody rudies weren't too hard to catch. I'd probably never ever use them. Why would I? I have Tenchi, and he's already perfect. After I forced that Brotherhood guy to see things from my perspective, I snuck up on another bushi sleeping on the beach. As I was writing my notes, I had made friends apparently, until the bushi was consumed, and then they were eyeballing me for dessert. I didn't want to serve any of them some of my cake, so we put them down. I had stayed at Mount Obsidian overnight hunting for bushi, and on the morning of day 19, a supply drop fell from the sky. It landed on top of a mountain nearby, and I tried my best to find it. I spent about 6 minutes looking for it, but eventually decided it wasn't worth it right now. Another bushi politely separated itself from its sword, and with that, I decided to head back home. With the metal I had acquired, I crafted a high-quality workbench and immediately crafted myself a mega grappling gun. Climbing and running was becoming a chore, and not to mention a huge time sink, and this was a much-needed upgrade for my kit. I was running around the forest looking for trash and playing around with my new grappling gun when I was attacked by a bushi by the Sakurajima graveyard. This particular bushi must have been a spirit of vengeance because it almost took out Tenchi and myself. After that near brush with death, I made my way over to the river and began farming some PAL fragments for later. I farmed as much as I could and headed back home. There, I was beset upon by a jonin. Tenchi defended me valiantly, but almost succumbed to his wounds. The other jonin that he fought almost got the upper hand on him, but we came out on top. With excitement, I crafted myself a new hip lantern because I'm scared of the dark, and I made myself a new glider because I'm scared of falling to my doom. Eventually, I got around to crafting a statue of power too, so I could finally upgrade my capture power. I don't know why I didn't do it a lot sooner. Yeah, I tend to procrastinate until a small problem becomes a huge one. With all the fighting that we had been doing, Tenchi and I were becoming even stronger. We could now fight things on Sakurajima and more often than not actually win. Tenchi fought and defeated a bushi knock. A week or so ago, he could barely put a dent in them. Now, we had an infinite source of metal ingots right at our doorstep. I went back to the Statue of Power and saw that I had a lot of PAL souls stockpiled and used them to upgrade Tenchi's attack by a decent percentage. It didn't seem like much in the fights we'd have, but I'm sure if I used the PAL condenser, he'd become insanely strong. We'll see. I still have yet to build it. In my last videos, I kind of just lived like a hobo almost. I wanted to do something a bit different this time, and I built a small house. It was going to be my personal house, but I thought a cozy pub would have been better. I unlocked some decorations and began shaping this small but humble shack into something with substance. The bar is kind of looking cozy if I do say so myself. Who knows, I might expand it a bit. Another late goal I set for myself is to build a small town here. I should have done this as soon as I moved here. Oh well, better late than never I suppose. I placed down some berry plantations to get a source of food going. Up until now we were sustaining off of raw meat and moldy bread from treasure chests. My stomach needed a break from the nutritional nightmares I had been subjecting myself to. A little ways from base, a Celine had graced us with its presence. I wanted to fight it, and I was disintegrated almost immediately. When I got my things back and went home, the syndicate decided to throw me a housewarming party. Luckily for me, Luckily for me, I had hot lead prepared as a party snack. The excitement from the evening got my blood pumping, and I spent the rest of the night farming Bushi Noct. I farmed Bushi until the morning, and my travels led me to a skill fruit tree that had some very powerful dragon fruits on them. Of course, they went to Tenchi. My quest for power wasn't done. I needed a special weapon to supplement Tenchi and myself. I could still craft a piece at the weapons workbench, but the Alpha Beacon boss had a chance to drop a really good legendary schematic. Ideally, I get it on my first try, saving myself the headache of putting it on farm, because that's how these things always work, right? I had a long trek ahead of me, so Tenchi and I left to hunt down the Beacon boss. Along the way, I almost met an untimely end. I had misjudged the distance between my glider and the ledge, and landed right into the water with no stamina left. We cut it really close this time. I'm lucky things didn't end badly. After that scare, we stopped by to say hello to the Bushi boss, who was so excited to see us that he gave me metal ingots and a level up. Oh, how generous. The trip north took all night, so let's just hop into day 24. Day 24. The details for today are a bit sparse. All I did was fight Relaxosaurus Lux, because why not? And we made it to the Beacon boss arena. To avoid death, I had to jump around a lot to avoid any damage coming my way. But after a bit, Tenchi did manage to win, and guess what? No blueprint. Rip. Things went a bit awry. It all happened so fast. I was fighting Genin with Tenchi, and somehow a Verdash got caught up in the mix, and caught me unaware. For my punishment, I was turned to lobby against my will. Tenchi went down with me. We are bound as brothers now, entwined in this mortal coil. I eventually got my belongings back, and went back to base to upgrade my tools from stone to metal finally. To unwind from the stress of the day, I tended to my garden. I adopted the ninja way. Be a warrior in a garden instead of a garden and a warrior. I actually forgot what that saying was. I'm just too lazy to Google it. In actuality, I was killing time waiting for Tenchi to mend in the PAL box. It was a 9-minute penalty every time he bit it, and boy did I end up feeling it at the end of this playthrough. It felt like eternity for him to heal, and I got bored sitting at base doing nothing, so I figured I'd be a bit proactive and farm some stone. With all that stone, I made a stone pit to save myself the effort of running around looking for wild boulders. This thing was a godsend. When I finished with my task, I was running around the Sakura forest when suddenly a supply drop fell literally right in front of me. I was flabbergasted. This was an amazing drop too. A blessing, to be sure. I don't have much to say about day 26, other than it was a day for legendary PAL spheres. Make it rain. Was that good? Yeah, okay, I'll leave that in the video. I spent all night rummaging through trash and my efforts were greatly rewarded. I had a cool 20 PAL spears. There is no way I can't catch a Jonin now. After setting up some traps, I lured in a Jonin with mild stress. When his health was low enough, I threw a barrage of legendary PAL spears. Would you believe that I blew through 14 of them just to capture one Jonin? It's true. And he had better passives than Tenchi. For a moment, I thought about feeding Tenchi to this other Jonin. I had a heavy decision to make. Give up Tenchi, the main man who has been with me through it all, or feed the superior Jonin Tenchi for a mild stat boost. Only time would tell. So I got a bit greedy and slid the wild PAL appearance rate all the way to 2, and today I fought 2 of the Alpha Beacon bosses. My thought process was, 2 Beacon bosses, double the chance at that blueprint. The plan in my head was foolproof, but as usual, wishful thinking, and I died. Twice. I managed to get one of the beacon down, but no blueprint. The other one disappeared into the aether, so with nothing to show for it, I returned home. At this time, I turned the appearance rate slider back to normal, or at least I thought I did. I guess I didn't save the settings or something because a huge fight broke out between myself and Tenchi and a few Bushi Noct with some Wixen Noct thrown in for good measure. And no, I did not survive the altercation. Tenchi didn't survive either, and since he was my hard carry, I had to let him heal in the PAL box. I used this time to reflect on the horrible atrocities that I've committed to get to this point. All the humans folded neatly into PAL spheres, their screams for help, once again, longing for release. On a more positive note, my berries were nice and red, probably the best in all of Sakurajima. I had enough metal to build a condenser finally. This would allow me to feed Tenchi other Jonin to make him stronger. When the condenser was finished, a wandering merchant foolishly wandered next to me. He was not safe, and I tried to catch him. He caught the lead with his teeth. Oopsie. I had a moment of silence for the fallen homie as I glanced over the interface for the condenser. By sheer chance, I discovered that I can use any type of human to make Tenchi stronger. I wasn't forced to just use Jonin Ronin. This one simple discovery was a complete turning point in this playthrough. All the humans I've caught, save for Lisa, were fed to Tenchi, making him even stronger. With this knowledge, I rushed over to the Syndicate camp and caught as many thugs as I possibly could. And apparently this stupid Gumas that got in my way. This one Gumas would ruin the playthrough and void this whole challenge. Nah, just kidding. I dropped it on the ground. It can think about what it did for eternity. By the way, full disclosure, this isn't the first time this happens. This happens at least twice in this video. Nearby, I ran into a cave to catch even more Syndicate, and did find some. When I had enough, I returned home and made a stun baton to catch humans easier. The tooltip for this weapon states that pals are easier to capture while they're stunned. I don't really believe that. I use this stun baton a lot, and it's kind of underwhelming. To make the stun baton, I needed a decent amount of metal, so once again, I returned to the base of Mount Obsidian with a bounty for Bushi. And I fought a lot of Bushi playing this game through all of my videos. This one, however, is the only Bushi to genuinely give me a jump scare, and he had to pay. One thing I've noticed with hunting Bushi here is that a lot of them end up walking around in the ocean. I'm not sure why they do this, but it's just something I've noticed. And you know what else I've noticed? Only 1% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed. Normally, I don't like to ask for a subscription, because I feel it should be earned, and I like to let you guys that watch the video decide. But when I do ask for a call to action, I've noticed that I get a huge boost in subs. So if you like my content, please consider subscribing. It helps my channel grow. YouTube likes it, and it makes me feel almost human again. And you can always change your mind later too, of course. But why would you? Who else is out here making some of the crispiest Palworld content on YouTube? Thank you! Alright, shameless plug aside, I spent the rest of the day farming Bushi for metal. I eventually found myself back at base, and I could hear the chime of a Lucky nearby, and I wanted to fight it for levels and to make the noise go away. Honestly, I could have just left the area and came back, but I like to overcomplicate things because it's funny. The Yakumo snapped into me like a Slim Jim and put me 6 feet under. Couldn't keep me down though, and I made that stun baton finally. At the time of crafting this thing, I thought it was going to be the final answer to catching humans easier, but in all actuality, the stun baton really isn't that great. To put my mind off of that, I also wanted a fresh set of metal armor, so once again, that's right, I farmed Bushi. At some point during the day, Tenchi fought a Mimog, and upon its defeat, it dropped a ton of dog coins and gold. So you can purchase things from a dog coin merchant that boost pal stats, and now I'd be keeping an eye out for Mimog that were unfortunate enough to cross my path. I condensed more humans into Tenchi and upgraded his attack to max at the Statue of Power, and I had a lot of souls left over, so I upgraded his health as well. My armor still needed to get crafted, and I was short on ice organs. I could go unlock Dune Shelter to buy them from the merchants, or I could just do a quick one and done with Pen King. On my way over to Pen King's house, I caught more humans that were unfortunate enough to be in my presence. After a few minutes of walking, we made it to Pen King's humble abode. Hello, Pen King, how the heck are ya? He'll be fine, he's just taking a little nap. No, yeah, he's fine, alright, let's go. When I got home, a supply drop landed somewhere near me. I wasn't paying attention as to where, so I began running around to find it, dodging danger every which way. When I got to it, I tore it open and was greeted by a mild spread. I was hoping for work speed elixirs or a pendant of diligence. Oh well, beggars can't be choosers. After a few minutes of wandering around, I finally got to crafting my cold-resistant armor, and paired with a thermal shirt, I would hopefully be immune to most extreme temperatures, until I die at least, and then it's back to square one. Now that I had a mid-game set of armor, I was ready to fight the mid-game tower bosses. I had a few options. I could go back to Mount Obsidian to fight Axel and Orsurk. I could fight Marcus and Phalaris, or I could fight Lily and Lylene. Yeah, I chose Lily and Lylene first. As I was explaining who I wanted to fight to my glam fam, a wandering merchant made the mistake of interrupting me, so I caught him. I'm going to treat him as a butler, and Sebastian was the name I chose. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. I said goodbye to Sebastian, and ran to Lily's tower. This took a really long time, but at least I got some fire ability fruits for the up-and-coming boss fight. I had traveled through the night and spent the morning climbing the mountain. I am so glad I had a grappling gun for this. If I didn't, I would have gone so crazy. When I got to the top, I ran straight for the fast travel beacon, having learned from my painful past mistakes. With a fire in my belly and a souped up shinobi, we kicked the door down to Lily's tower and began to fight her. The fight actually took no time at all, and Tenchi really didn't even flinch. Alright, well, I guess it was time to go east into the Great Desert. When we reached the top of the tower, I peered over the land and began my journey. Along the way, I stopped to appreciate appreciate how nice this frozen lake looked against the sunset. I didn't get to admire it for too long because I slipped into a crack and began phasing in and out of reality at a rapid pace. Luckily, I had my trusty grappling gun and got out of that sticky situation. When I began gliding down to a lower elevation, I got greedy and tried to go right for this fast travel beacon, and I almost drowned again. Yeah, I know. This is like the third time this has happened. You'd think I'd learn by now. The only thing that saved me was my large HP pool, and even then, I'd be devastated if I lost all of my gear now. Losing my bag would set me back weeks in Palworld time. It was just a risk that I wouldn't be willing to take. When the sun came up, I started running to the desert boss tower. Along the way, I farmed daisies for their clouds. They act as a fast travel in a pinch when you craft the homeward thundercloud at the workbench. In the distance, I spotted what I thought was a Meemog, but when I got closer, it turned out to be a regular old chest. These desert mirages are no joke. Or I could be tired, who knows. After much running, I was almost at the tower, except I was on the wrong mesa. In the blink of an eye, I arrived at the tower. Wow, editing sure is useful. A 10-minute trip took literal seconds. The massive journey that took place over the last few paragraphs had left me a little tired, so I just went home and cooked food to relax for the rest of the day. The next morning, I went back to the desert and ran my way over to Dune Shelter. Here, I would purchase various things, like a blueprint to make a Catress hat, and some lettuce seeds. It was my hope to make salads for various work-related projects at base. Salads increase work speed significantly for both humans and pals. Since it was just me running everything, I needed all the help I could get. When I was finished participating in commerce, I attempted to capture a few merchants to bring home with me. They didn't like this prospect. I guess living rent-free in a beautiful sakura forest surrounded by wildlife, flowing rivers, and all the red berries you could eat was a horrible fate to them, compared to living in this dry and nearly dead wasteland. To each their own. I did manage to catch one merchant. It wasn't the one I wanted, but it was more meat for the grinder, I suppose. After a few relogs and attempts, I got the merchant I did want. But hey, why stop there? I caught a couple of PIDF officers and some villagers too. No one was safe. No one. When I finished up at Dune Shelter, I ran to the northern part of the desert to unlock a fast travel. Usually this area is teeming with Syndicate, and I'd use this area to farm a bit later. On the start of day 37, I fought the Chilette boss for no reason at all. I really did not have to be here. I was actually on my way to fight Catress to get some of her fur, so I can craft the Catress hat. I did get some fur. You know, as I type this, there is no way for me to say this without sounding hella sus. Yikes! A little distance from the Catress fight, I saw a huge mountain that I wanted to climb, so climb it I did. There was no reason to do this. From this great height, I could see a lot of Palworld. I could even see my base from up here. Well, not really, but let's just pretend. I could also see Liftmonk effigies scattered across the map, and I was due for a capture power level up. So back down the mountain I went, grabbed a Liftmonk effigy, and went home to upgrade. I'm not sure if I'd keep at this. The requirements are becoming more and more taxing, and without the aid of a flying pal, this would take up a tremendous amount of time to complete. But if I see an easy to grab Liftmonk, yeah, I'll get them. My base was looking a bit bland, and I wanted to build it up. I've noticed that most of my bases as of recent have been quite sparse, so I started laying down foundations for smaller houses. The idea was to have some humans live here and make it look like a small settlement. I didn't really have a layout for the village planned, so I just kind of haphazardly threw down in places I thought needed a house. With that being said, I spent most of the day just building. I'd play something like the Red Dead Redemption 2 house building song here, but I won't, so we'll just pretend. At the end of the day, I wanted to build a merchant hall. The plan was to have the merchants have an isolated living area complete with beds and food. What I'm trying to say is they'd have merchant stalls that they would live in, and they would be right here as I needed them. The only issue I ran into, though, is that they would teleport through the walls to wander the base, so I just made this as a general living quarters. I had another chore I wanted to get done today. I needed to clean up some of the meteors that were scattered around the island. Watching out for supply drops became a bit confusing with all the meteor icons cluttering up the map on the top of the screen. Plus, I could be paranoid, but I think the meteors take up a supply drop spawn. I'm not really sure if that's true. It could just be me being hyper paranoid. While out and about in the world, I found a decent loot drop. Maybe I'm not too crazy. Having my fill of this, I returned home and made a good amount of homeward thunderclouds. When I was finished with that chore, I came across another Meemog and got the coins I needed to buy Tenchi power fruit to boost his attack stats. Day 40 is a bit short, not a whole lot happened. I did find another Meemog and fought Catress for her hair. I got nothing to show for my trip here. Unsatisfied with the results, I decided to find a wild Catress, and I did get some of her fur. Look, I'm going to be real. If any parents are watching my videos, I apologize for this joke. It's not my intention, trust me. It just kinda happens. The item is literally called Catress fur. Since I was in the area, I fought the Petalia boss. just because. I was procrastinating on catching humans, but it needed to get done if I wanted to max out Tenchi for the final two bosses, Victor and Seiya, both of which are pretty scary in their own right. The last time I fought those two, I had a super Shadow Beak with a maxed out party of Hootkrates. Or Hootkrates. The owls. The dark owls, okay? As seen in one of my other videos. I do need better Pal Spears to make this easier though. Regular Pal Spears just weren't cutting it anymore. When I finished with the dungeon, I used a thundercloud to get home because I was feeling lazy, and when I got there, I immediately set out to farm Bushi again. The spears I wanted to craft needed metal ingots. Yes, at this time, I did miss Fire Pals immensely. Farming Bushi for 6 to 12 pieces of smelted metal apiece was starting to grate on me. I got lucky and found another Meemog too, by the way. Yeah, I'm not good at segues. I also got a good supply drop. I wrote that as gracefully and as eloquently as I possibly could have, probably. To save myself a ton of work, I parted with all of my life savings and bought 116 megaspheres from one of my merchants. 116 spheres, the exact number to max out a human. Kind of poetic. I also got around to making my Catress hat. I think it looked really good. I wouldn't get too used to it though. I lose it tomorrow. With my new hat, I ventured out and caught more humans. Then this daydream by mistake. This keeps happening when I angle my camera in a weird way. It's really not intentional, I swear. The next day, I traveled to the small settlement to get more electric organs, and more organs to help Tenchi grow stronger. No one was safe. If it walked on 2 legs and looked like you and me, it was free game. I imagine the scene kind of looks like when Cell started drinking people in Dragon Ball Z. Just an empty village. Yeah, a ghost town. The merchants and the PIDF didn't take too kindly to my transgression and quickly put me down. My Catress hat also broke. Yeah, the hats are cool, but if you keep going back to respawn, they break. That means I need to go to Catress to get more of her fur. Okay, you got me. That one was intentional. I just hope my monetization isn't slam dunked for all these jokes. A new 4090 for Christmas would be a nice gift to me for being a good boy this year. Fast forward a few in-game hours and I ended up at the Dogcoin Merchant and I wanted gold. So we fought the merchant and defeated him. Back when I was doing my 100 Days Dark Pals only video, I used a relog cheese to get the merchants to spawn in if they died. I wanted to see if it would be the same for the Dogcoin Merchant, and much to my surprise it actually worked. There he was, stood there in all of his golden glory. So we unalived him again, and wants more for good measure. On another note, yes, it does feel like I'm cheating when I do this, so I'll just do it sparingly. Although there's not much really I could do with gold outside of buying crafting materials. I wouldn't consider this absolutely game breaking. Yeah, 126,000 gold for 5 minutes of work seems totally fair and reasonable. Back at the base, I made a Palsphere workbench to craft my own Gigaspheres, but in the meantime, I needed a quick fix, so I bought more Megaspheres. When I finished up, a raiding party was sent to my doorstep. This inconvenience would grant me more humans to use for later, and luckily for me, I managed to capture them all. I still wanted to craft Gigaspheres, and they needed a lot of smelted ingots, so back I went to the Sakurajima graveyard to farm Bushi for the rest of the day. After stealing as many Bushi swords as I could, I headed to the river to farm Paldean fragments. Gigaspheres also needed a ton of frags, and wow, now I'm farming stone. After all of that hard work, which looks like it took a short while, but I assure you it didn't, I was only able to craft 20 Gigaspheres. This really was not worth the effort. On my laundry list of things to do today, fighting Catress was one of them. I wanted to fix my hat again. This hat breaks so easily, and fighting Catress every few days was an exercise in futility. But this video needs a B-plot, and this is it. Of course, she didn't drop any of her hair. I just realized I've been calling it for this entire time. I don't have a follow-up joke. At some point during the day, I ended up catching even more humans, and just like that, I was back out in the world farming more Catress. I feel really bad for Meemogs. It's not their fault they're filled with tasty loot, but you gotta do what you gotta do to deal with the Palworld power creep. When I got home, I repaired my hat, but I just ended up breaking it a few paragraphs later. Across the world, I was out catching villagers again, and these guys are super slippery. This particular one was giving me grief, and he wouldn't go quietly, but I eventually did catch him. And this one too. When the settlement was cleared out, I moved over to the fishing village at Mount Obsidian. I had managed to capture most of the villagers, but regretfully, I had another run-in with the 5-0. Wow, day 46 sure was crazy, huh? How did I get out of that one? Anyway, I captured more humans, and to have them respawn faster, I would log out and in again to expedite this process. I eventually had enough farming done and returned home to upgrade Tenchi again, all the way to tier 3. To max him out, I would need to capture around 60 more humans. Catching humans with Pal Spheres was already difficult enough, now I need 60 of them. I'd have time to think about the consequences of doing a Palworld 100 Days Human video as I farmed Bushi for metal. Today marked a big day for us. I wanted to see if I could fight Marcus. We had high spirits, and this fight looked very doable. I just needed a decent water skill fruit for Tenchi, but yeah, we did die. So I spent the next few days searching for skill fruit trees. I had searched all day on day 49, and the best one I could find was Lightning Strike and Solar Laser. They weren't super good, but they weren't super terrible either. After about 2 days of searching, I was finally gifted with a single water fruit. It was Splash. I didn't know if it was any good though, but we're going to find out. I fought Marcus again, and this time we were doing a lot better. But since Solar Laser was a grass type PAL move, it didn't do a whole lot of damage to Phalaris. But Splash carried. However, I did die again, twice. I just fight Marcus later. I wanted to see if I could fight Axel and Orsurk. They were the late mid-game tower boss, and I felt that was more our speed at the moment. As I was climbing, I unlocked another fast travel at the Anubis statue and checked the skill fruit tree that was in the area. I managed to get Acid Rain. Since this fruit gave damage over time, I figured it would be quite useful. A whole lot didn't happen for the rest of the day. I was slowly climbing the summit of Mount Obsidian. To keep on my path, I used wooden platforms to help me climb. As I placed a platform down, I was slingshotted hundreds of feet backwards, and my tired brain lagged to try and keep up. Thankfully, I did manage to not fall to my doom. Nighttime was right around the corner, and I took a moment to look over Palworld, and down at the path I had carved in the side of the mountain. Just seeing how far I climbed blew my mind for some reason. Eventually, the journey came to an end, and I made it to the volcano tower. When the sun rose, I encountered a shady pal merchant. When I did talk to him, he said he was on his way to a settlement to sell his pals, and he said they were stinky. I left him alone. Clearly, a random man at the summit of an active volcano was bad news, and I didn't want to get involved in all that mess. But I did get involved with Axel and Orsurk. Not romantically, of course. That'd be weird. Imagine me. Axel, no, couldn't be me. Anyway, we were evenly matched in combat. We fought back and forth. Orsurk and Tenchi were pushed to their limits. Why is it everything I write sus? I don't understand. And the fight raged on for a full 10 minutes. It was down to the wire. Would it be Tenchi or Orsurk? Right as the clock struck 0, Tenchi dealt the final blow. But the Pal Gods cheated me out of a hard-fought victory, and I died as well. Frustrated, I turned Palworld off and went to bed in real life. I once again fought the Alpha Beacon, and I once again left with nothing to show for it. I have some really horrible luck apparently. Since I didn't have much else to do, I went around and caught more Syndicate, mostly to pass the time. One thing I didn't realize when I initially started this challenge was that grinding to a halt mid-game is super boring. But for the sake of you guys, I'll try to make this as entertaining as possible. It's going to be a stretch, but we'll see if we can make this work. You think farming Bushi for metal would be fun and exciting, but it turned into one of the most mind-numbing chores in this entire 100 days. Armor breaks. Go farm Bushi. Stun baton breaks. Bushi. Need more Pal Spheres? Yep, Bushi. I was living in my own personal Groundhog Day. The most exciting thing today was finding another water skill fruit called Wall Splash. I had an idea to better fight Axel and Orsurk. Orsurk, being a dragon pal, was weak to ice, of course, and he was also weak to earth-type attacks. Luckily for me, Tenchi had some earth-based skills. Doubly luckily, I had a ton of frost organs to make ice grenades, so I made a weapon workbench and started on crafting as many as I could. For some reason, I needed a lot of stone to craft them, so I got to farming, and this took up a good majority of the day. After 20 so minutes of holding down my poor F key, I could only craft about 40 grenades, which I can already tell you wasn't going to be nearly enough. While Tenchi pretended to work at the weapons workbench, I planted lettuce and tomatoes finally. To give me a work speed boost, I ate one of the most atrocious things on the planet, a salad. I feel bad that I have to say this as a follow-up, but I'm joking, of course. Salads are delicious, especially with some vinaigrette and feta cheese. Yes, please. I force-fed Tenchi some salad too. He needed to speed things up. Those ice grenades weren't going to craft themselves. While waiting for the sake of waiting, I planted more lettuce plantations and tomato plantations as well. Then I scrambled some salad over this campfire. Hey, guess what? I fought Beacon today. You'll be pleased to know that no, I did not get the blueprint either. I farmed Bushi, yada yada. Oh, I fought Noklim too, and Tenchi won. He's insanely strong. Peep this. I also found this Bushi hiding in a tree. Get down from there, you silly little goofball. Little critter trying to hide. Losing my mind. After days of scraping and farming, I was finally able to repair my equipment. To make my pal box happy, I made a shoddy bed that, yes, of course, I would never use. With that, I leveled up my base, and now I can have 2 to 3 freeloaders across the world. I fought Axel and Orsurk again until I stopped paying attention. I think a spider was crawling over my arm or something, I don't know, but I died either way. I went back in because I was seeing pure red, and then Tenchi died this time. Yeah, I blame the spider. I couldn't do much while I waited for Tenchi to heal from his wounds, so I farmed some stone. Yeah, I just farmed resources today, it seems. Oh, I also caught another Jonin. I was going to keep this one. I named him Akira. He'd be my backup just in case Tenchi got knocked out or something. I died in some confusion. I have no idea what happened, so this will be interesting to see when I edit the video. Apparently, I was out and about to catch some genin, and the only thing I caught was a katana to the back of the head. While running to get my stuff back, I ran into another Mimog, and a Quiver that was super rude. What did I do to deserve this? I had managed to catch a genin, and I named him Shinji. This particular genin had Hydromaniac, and that means he does a lot more water damage than normal, which was fantastic. Fighting Marcus and Phalaris was becoming more plausible by the day. Oh, I caught another one also, but I died too, so there's that. The genin that I had caught before perishing was named Haru of the Takagura Dojo, obscure reference. I needed to up my productions, so I crafted 3 more weapons workbenches to have a person each one ideally. In theory, this would triple the output, I think. Whilst I was out and about looking for fruit trees, I got Hydro Laser, one of the strongest water attacks in the game. Of course, I fed it to Shinji. I'd have to be crazy not to. I'd have to test it out after we beat Axel and Orsurk. I also got another Beam Slicer fruit. This attack is insanely overpowered too. When I got back home, I turned the spare humans sitting into the POW box into Tang, and upgraded Shinji's attack and health. Yeah, I'd say today was a pretty good day, honestly, all things considering. Today, right off the rip, I fought Beacon again, and yeah, no blueprint still. You know what? I'm just gonna make a base handgun at home. Farming this thing is getting me absolutely nowhere. So today, I spent the day fighting all of the Bushi I came across. Eventually, after committing many atrocities, I crafted myself a 6-piece. I'd go buy the biscuits later. From farming poor Mimogs, I was flush with a lot of dog coins, and I went back to the merchant to get Tenchi and attack elixir, and I got myself a little treat as well. I bought myself an extra inventory slot. Then, to thank the merchant for bestowing these gifts upon me, we farmed them for some gold. With my pockets filled with coin, I went to the fishing village at Mount Obsidian and bought all of the bullets I could afford, which was a lot. My friends, it is time. With my new gear and purpose, we fought Axel and Orsurk again, 2 savages on a mission. With our training arc complete, Tenchi and myself finally beat Axel and Orsurk again, but this time we did it in record time. At the time of writing, I have no idea how the Marcus fight will go, but in all honesty, I'm more terrified of Victor and Shadowbee. But enough of that now. Tenchi and I ascended to the tower and took our rightful place amongst the stars. We couldn't rest on our laurels for too long. Things had to get done. It was crunch time. And we were in the big leagues now, so we farmed coins again. After farming the coin merchant over and over, I walked away with a cool 200,000 coins. I was super rich now. With all of my coins, I bought 200 Mega Palspheres for the up-and-coming taming spree. Today was a day of hard work and grit. That means I stayed up all night farming stone, and I needed a ton of wood too. I hate to clear cut the Sakura forest around the village like this, but it needed to get done. Plus they'll eventually grow back. And I farmed the merchant again. This guy is trapped in an endless loop, just like Diavolo, and unlike Diavolo, this guy doesn't have King Crimson to help him out. Guess what I did? Yeah, I fought Beacon again. What came next will shock you. Still, no blueprint. When I got back home, I had enough resources to start crafting shock grenades. If I can get away with it, I'll save these for Victor and Shadowbee. I'm not sure if they're useful against Marcus, but we'll see. This is totally not me stalling. Haha, I'm not scared. Anyway, whilst my villagers began crafting my shock rocks, I began planting crops, because we need food. We're starving to death. My villagers were still crafting away, and uncharacteristically, I wanted to do something nice for them, so I tried to make a bathhouse. The keyword is try. I even gave them a really nice hot spring too. One of the benefits of looting trash is that there is a small chance you can get cement from them, and that's the only endgame luxury I'll ever get in this playthrough. This project took all day. I was just never satisfied. Wow, it's crazy how life imitates art, huh? Didn't do a whole lot today, outside of catching more humans. I also nailed this 6-shot Palsphere toss, so I hope you appreciate it. Yep, did the same thing on day 68 too. I don't have a 69 joke, sorry everyone, not this time. Oh yeah, I was still out catching humans too. I was still at it for day 70, I had spent the last 3 days catching humans. When I read my notes, I'm not even sure how I had the patience for this task. Normally, I'd get bored and do something else, but I guess I just stuck with it this time. After catching 60 humans, I had the final one I needed right in front of me. And let me tell ya, he put up a really big fight. Dude did not want what was about to happen to him. But I am persistent. I had a lot of Palspheres, and he eventually came with me. When I got home, I turned the humans into a protein shake for Tenchi, and now his metamorphosis was complete. It was time to test him out. So off we went to fight the Beacon boss again. And guess what? Yeah, I know. Psych! I got the blueprint finally. Oh, let's go. But I couldn't celebrate just yet. This thing was expensive, like insanely expensive. I needed around 400 metal ingots to craft it, and Bushi usually only drops 6 to 9 pieces of metal at a time. I had a lot more farming in my future, and so I got on it. I had most of the resources I needed, but like I said, metal was hard to come by. Let's just say it was a bad day to be a Bushi. Normally, I don't like running caves on Sakurajima because they make my 3060 scream in agony, but I was getting very desperate. I really needed metal, and sometimes Bushi knocked hide out in the caves, to which I only found one. The loot wasn't even good at the end either, so yeah, this was a waste of time. While searching for Bushi into day 72, I figured I'd check out the skill fruit trees too. I managed to get one called Diamond Rain. I don't think I've seen this one yet, so I was eager to test it out. When I picked all of the fruits, I returned to base and I got dunked on. I forgot that I gave Lisa an implode fruit a while ago, and then this happened. Okay then. When I got my stuff back, we went and fought the Bushi boss too. Every little bit counts. Then, while waiting for night, I continued building the community center. I was running around a lot, and it was getting to the point where it took up most of my time. To remedy this, I made a few Dazzy thunderclouds. When that task was complete, I farmed metal from Bushis again, and got myself a cheeky level up as well. The only real thing that would help me in my future fights was to surpass the level of the boss, and honestly, I didn't know how I would achieve that goal. I had the idea to try and fight the Knocklim again, since it outleveled me, but I got distracted by something and I died. When I got my stuff back, Knocklim once again did his super frisbee breaker on me, and guess what? I died again. So I meekly began to farm Bushi again for the rest of the day. I ended up at the Bushi boss again. With all the farming I was doing, I was making some decent progress, and I only needed about 100 more iron bars to get my super project underway, but it felt like it was taking forever. Since I couldn't do much else right now, I decided to farm stone until the sun went down, and then I would farm Bushi at night. In the early morning of day 75, I was scrambling to find as many Bushi as I possibly could. Unfortunately, not a lot of them were spawning in tonight. Well, I did my best, but sometimes my best isn't good enough. I needed something to take my mind off the mountainous task that I had to do, so I cleaned up the base a little, trying to get things tidy. In my notes it says I died. To what? I have no idea. Day 76 doesn't have a lot of information. All I know is that while I was farming Bushi, I only got one of them. Bad luck. Well, we'll just have to try again tomorrow, I guess. This is it. My last Bushi for a little while, I hope. I didn't waste any time and ran back to base to create the Gatscalibur. All that hard work was coming to fruition, and I would use it with great justice. Well, I'd at least get it crafted at some point in the video. I'm going to need a lot more salads if I want to see this thing crafted in a timely fashion. While my villagers crafted the ultimate weapon, I repaired my armor. Well, most of it anyway. Look, okay, I was honestly just procrastinating on crafting because I knew it was going to take a long while, but I eventually just got down to work. 10 minutes of real life time had passed, and I had finally crafted it. Behold, Ultima. Now that it was in my hands, I had to go test it out. What better to test it out on than Catress? Honestly, it doesn't really seem that overpowered. I have a really bad habit of hyping things up, a pattern that I've recognized for making most of these videos, but I got what I came for, testing out this gun and some Catress hair. Today was the day. I could feel it. With my squad, we went to fight Marcus at the Desert Tower, and I died. It appears that I forgot to equip Tenchi with some water attacks. It didn't matter in the long run though, because I died again. With much struggle, it was done. Marcus was felled by my hand. Tenchi helped too, I guess. All I did for day 80 was farm resources, so let's just skip ahead. I was still farming into day 81. The biggest hang-up I had was needing a lot of fiber to make shot grenades. Honestly, I wish there were a better way to go about getting some fiber in this playthrough. I could just tame a water pal. Who would know? A lot of people don't even get this far into the video. I totally could too. Just pretend like I did all of that hard work for myself and never show my pal box. I could have a whole bunch of pals in there that farm stuff for me and no one would be the wiser. Because I could just edit out the footage and not show them. Could I do that? Yeah, I probably could. Will I do that? No. I'm already anticipating the comments telling me the entire challenge is void because my camera clipped into some Gumas and daydreams, causing me to accidentally catch them, even though it wasn't my intention. Oh well. Huh? Oh, sorry, my mind tends to wander when I'm not doing much else. Now that Marcus was gone, all I had to do now was get to Victor, and that would take a long while, so I just started running. I can't believe it took me half of the day just to get to this point where I can swim across the water. Sheesh. Honestly, I have no idea if I can make the swim, but I'll try. Eventually, I got to an area where I could replenish my stamina, and it really was kind of stressful getting out here. Mostly because if I died in the middle of the ocean, there was no way I would get my stuff back, especially that gun that I just spent all that time crafting, and that would really put a crimp in things. But at least I made it, so that's good. Also fortunate that I made it to a fast travel as well. Now I can climb the mountain with a bit more confidence. I was still climbing into day 83, and I still had a very long way to go. For you, it took a second. For me, it took a long while. But at least I'm getting a little bit closer. Near the summit of the mountain, I encountered 2 Vanworm Crist, and I needed to get around them to unlock the tower fast travel. So I sent in Tenchi after them. I didn't want to risk it. If I died here, it would not be good. Tenchi cleaned them up, and we finally made it to the summit. Look, you can see my base from here. Well, not really, just pretend, okay? While I was running over to Victor's tower, I set my villagers on the task of creating a lot of shock grenades, and they made some decent progress. Well, they were until this wild Yakumo came in and knocked them all out. Alright, since half of my workforce were now down for the count, I might as well grab this supply drop. It had 2 might elixirs that would increase my attack power. I was going to need all the help I could get, believe you me. The next day, I fought Victor and Shadowbeak, and I got shredded. Absolutely shredded. I didn't even stand a chance in here. Tenchi was knocked out right away too, so with that, I'm heading back to base to let him heal. While I was farming, a small raid happened. What's up with the Syndicate always sending like 3 dudes and nothing else? Like, what's the point? Well, after that slight inconvenience, I went to the Great Desert to hunt Levender. And if you're a longtime viewer of mine, it's not for the reason you think. You see, I was after a potion that will let me reroll my stats. I leveled heavy into work speed, and since we were winding down on this 100 days, I wanted to convert those points into attack power. Enough yapping though, I didn't get that potion. When I went back home, I completely forgot that I could make omelets, and these increase your attack power by a percentage, about 10%. It's stacked with necklaces and your base attack stat as well. With my nutrition in check, and the most flames omelet I've ever eaten, we tried to fight Victor again, but I still died. But this time, I made it a lot further than before, so this might be possible. When I got back to Sakurajima, I started checking the fruit trees that were around the island to see if I could get any more dragon fruit. Tenchi was my main hitter, but if I could at least get 1 dragon attack on each of my team members, I think it would help a lot. Here's my fruit haul from 4 trees. At 3 fruits apiece, I got 1 dragon fruit. Rip me, I guess. Oh, I also died. Today I got a really good supply drop. It contained work elixirs. I needed to craft even more grenades because I have a bad habit of throwing them and asking questions later. And that's it. That's all of day 88. Day 89, I spent the entire day farming to create these grenades. Yes, this did take a long time. I feel kind of bad that these days are so short, but in reality, it's just this sometimes. If I had pals doing stuff for me, I'm 1000% sure that I'd beat Seiya and Celine by now, and especially Victor. Never ever again will I take advanced weapons in this game for granted. Nor how broken a maxed out Shadowbeak is with maxed out Rukrates. The owl. The dark owl, okay? I can't say these names. By the way, I'm looking forward to the new map. I plan on using that Shadowbeak like crazy. I still haven't named it yet, so if you guys want to name her something, let me know in the comments. I'll be picking up on one of my previous 100 Days games because I just kind of want to dive into the map and not fuss around with like level 1 content. I was still crafting well into day 90, and after a while, it was time to fight Victor again. This time, I had gotten so close to beating him. I couldn't pull through though, and I died with around 26,000 hit points left, which was a huge sting in my pride. So here at day 91, I am left with a bit of a dilemma. I spent the next week or so farming up resources and making food to fight Victor. Do I show all the in-between steps, or do I just show all my losses to keep it entertaining? Truly, I don't know. The video is almost over. By now, I don't know if it really matters. I just stood around for day 91 waiting for heals. Those inner monologues were firing off today, I guess. Okay, here we go again. Victor and Shadowbeak, your time has come. Yeah, I died again. I had run out of omelets, and it took some time to whip up some more. Alright, for sure this time. We got this. I died again, and again, and again. At this point, I was so fed up with fixing my metal armor, I just downgraded back into leather, which honestly wouldn't help much, but at least it was better than doing this with plain clothes. I spent all of day 93 just farming materials again. Alright, I'm making more shockers. Here we go. Fighting Victor again. Oh, Tenchi got rolled right away. Dang it. Back to base, I guess. Alright, Tenchi is all healed and I'm ready to go. Let's get this done. Big finale for the video. Let's go. I really wish attacks didn't go through walls in this game. Here we go again, this time for sure. Oh, I actually won. Oh, I'm shaking so bad right now, but I actually did it. Now I have to fight. Oh no, I have to fight the super waifu. Yeah, you know what? I'm good. I already know that Seiya is going to be nigh impossible with just humans at my current level and gear score. So you know what? I'm just going to chill for the next 3 days. I earned this. I am going to retire. But let me say something before you leave. This was one of the most difficult Palworld challenges that I have ever done. Without a bit of cheese in the early game, I honestly don't know if I could have accomplished this challenge at all. Yeah, I know. I set all of the tower bosses by day 100. I know my limits. So to you, if you want to try this challenge, maybe you can beat Seiya and Celine? I would like to see it if it's possible. I'm not trying to be smug or nothing, it's just the way I sound, which apparently is really depressed all the time. Thanks for pointing it out, guys. I'm very well aware of it. You can stop pointing it out. Thank you, I know. In reality, I'm not even that good at Palworld, but I like to see what a Palworld master could do. Alright, but for real though. Day 98. I actually did try to fight Seiya. I can't say I clickbaited because here I am. I'm fighting her. As expected, I crumbled. She is so insanely strong and so insanely waifu material. Well, after that horrendous whooping, I decided to just relax and do chores. On day 99, I built this clock tower. I thought it looked cool. Can't really see the clock well, but hey, it's there. On day 100, well, it's actually day 102 because I was just having fun building up my base a bit, but who's really counting in these videos? Most people fake this kind of content anyway. I decided once again to fight Seiya and Celine. I fought as hard as I could and managed to get her health somewhat low, but I just couldn't do it. I could not clutch it out in the end. I tried again and nothing. Well, there you have it. I couldn't beat all the tower bosses before day 100. As punishment, here's me in a maid outfit. Enjoy. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Oh hey there, you didn't skip to the end of the video, did you? You little sneak. Go back and watch it from the beginning. Yes, I stole this bit from Markiplier. No, I don't care. See you in the next one. Bye.